Alex Soros just rolled out the red carpet for Gavin Newsom at Davos, calling him the real star of 2026 and practically anointing him as the Democrats' 2028 presidential frontrunner. But here's what's really happening behind those closed doors that should terrify every American who believes in actual democracy. See, this isn't just political theater. This is your future being decided by unelected billionaires in Swiss ski lodges. When Alex Soros publicly endorses someone, it comes with the full weight of Open Society Foundation's billions. That means Soros-funded prosecutors, Soros backing vote initiatives, and a coordinated media blitz that can manufacture consent like a political assembly line. And for you personally, this means 4 more years of California-style governance, rolling blackouts, $6 gas, and homeless encampments in your neighborhood. Socially, it's the continued weaponization of justice where crimes go unpunished if you're the right political color. Politically, it's the death of organic grassroots movements replaced by astroturfed activism funded by foreign billionaires who view America as their personal playground. And speaking of things that hurt Americans, let me tell you about something that's probably hurting you right now. You're getting older, I'm getting older, it's unavoidable. And until science figures out how to age in reverse, most of us face joint pain. You've probably tried supplements or creams promising miracles, but let's be real, most don't work. And here's why most people don't get relief. They're treating symptoms, not the root cause. Golden Revive Plus attacks inflammation at the source with a unique blend that actually works. While Soros is inflaming our politics, you don't have to live with inflamed joints. Golden Revive Plus gives you back your mobility, your comfort, and your life. Don't let pain control your future like billionaires control our politics. Try Golden Revive Plus risk-free. The link is in the description. But here is the twist. The twist that nobody is talking about. Newsom showed up to Davos with literal Trump knee pads as a political stunt, while simultaneously getting the Soros stamp of approval. Think about that contradiction. He's mocking world leaders for bending the knee to Trump while he's literally on his knees for Soros money. The cognitive dissonance is staggering, but it reveals everything about how the game really works. If stupidity was a crime, Laura Logan writes, Alex Soros would be jailed for life. Throw in desperate, boring, and pretentious for a life sentence. Alex Soros is, Liz Churchill writes, Alex Soros is the retarded sugar daddy that funds tyranny. Listen to this Alex Soros bumbling fool at the World Economic Forum.
I don't think that's the fundamental. I don't think the technology is the fundamental issue in democracy. Democracy is messy. I mean, democracy is about contestation of ideas. It's about plurality. It's about people having different truths, actually. Now, fundamentally, how society lives together civically in those contestations is obviously quite tricky. But I think that if we play too much on this disinformation card, we're taking the responsibility away from ourselves to actually create a narrative that inspires people to vote and to believe in democracy and democratic institutions, not only institutions.
Yeah, that's the guy who is the heir to the Soros manufactured AstroTurf dynasty. Laura Logan's brutal personal attack sets the tone, but watch how this quickly shifts from character assassination to sexual innuendo as the critics get more graphic. Poor Gavin is projecting again. He's actually the one that brought his knee pads for his sugar daddy, Alex Soros. You gotta love the memes. Gavin Newsom being led around on a pink leash harness by Alex Soros. That perfectly illustrates what's happening. The crude sexual references are building momentum, but now we get the actual news that's driving the outrage. Loomer Unleashed, 2028 alert. Alex Soros gives a glowing endorsement to Gavin Newsom. Great catching up with the real star of 2026 World Economic Forum, my friend Gavin Newsom. Here's the post. So glad he's here calling out world leaders for believing appeasement works when it comes to Trump. It doesn't. It only emboldens him to become more chaotic and destructive. World leaders can take a page out of Newsom's book. It's time to stand tall, stand firm, and stand united before it's too late. Yeah. So now we have the core story about Soros endorsing Newsom at Davos. Watch how the sexual innuendo continues as critics continue to pile on. But did he wear his pair for Alex Soros? Gavin Newsom brings Trump's signature knee pads to Davos for world leaders who are bending the knee to Trump. Watch this.
They're the new Trump signature series knee pads. Yeah, and they are available online. I told you the last one sold out. And I just want to sort of... It's a serious moment. It actually, we laugh. Anyway, these are available and in bulk, too.
But I want to read you a couple of things the U.S. government has said about you in the last 20.
Yeah. So Gavin Newsom bringing actual knee pads to shame the global elite for working with Donald Trump to make America great again. That's the angle that he's using. This next tweet suggests there's video evidence viewers should see about Alex Soros himself. Worth a watch if you're unfamiliar with who Alex Soros is. Let's check this out.
I'd like you to meet Alex Soros. We didn't vote for him, and we didn't elect him, but he's meeting with our government more than most elected officials, and the question is, why? Since taking over Open Society Foundations, his father's billion-dollar machine for manipulating global politics, he's had dozens of closed-door meetings with the most powerful Democrats in Washington: Obama, Biden, Harris, Pelosi, Schumer, Schiff. Why is an unelected billionaire meeting with him so often, and what are they really discussing? The OSF pumps billions into buying elections, funding radical prosecutors who refuse to enforce laws, and pushing politics that weaken national borders, destabilize societies, and concentrate power at the top. This isn't some conspiracy theory. Look at the results. Cities run by Soros-funded officials are collapsing under crime and lawlessness. Elections are being reshaped in ways that make fraud easier to commit and harder to trace. Millions of illegal immigrants flood across the border, while the same officials meeting with Soros celebrate the progress. His endgame? Dismantling national sovereignty and replacing it with globalist control. And all these politicians, the ones he's shaking hands with, they aren't leaders, they're puppets. If you thought George Soros was dangerous, his son is more extreme, more radical left, and more embedded in Washington than you can imagine. He's trying to reshape the United States to fit the Soros vision, and Democrats all across the country are letting it happen. The real question is, how much longer will people ignore it? Like, share, and spread the truth about Alex Soros, because this is a secret they really don't want us to know.
And that's why we're sharing it with you. Perfect timing for opposition research. This sets the stage for our next source, who actually is excited about a Newsom 2028 run for totally different reasons. The quartering. It was always good to be Gavin, and quite frankly, I welcome it. It should be a slam dunk. Who else do you think runs? Kamala? He was quote tweeting the Kalshi Post. Gavin Newsom is the clear favorite to be the Democrat nominee in 2028. The quartering welcomes a Newsom candidacy while others attack it. Of course, he's speaking tongue-in-cheek, but international observers are asking harder questions about why Newsom is even at Davos. Excuse me. The White House wants to know, why is Gavin Newsom frolicking in Davos? He's cozying up to the Europeans, got booted from the USA House party, but no worries, his billionaire sugar daddy, Mini Soros, is there to keep him company. The White House asking those questions. Here is Jesse Waters.
Everybody's leaving California, even their governor. He's on a field trip to Davos, and he's causing trouble. He doesn't even know what he's doing or why he's there, but at least he's having fun, right? That was until Trump took the stage.
It was remarkably boring. It was remarkably insignificant.
Boring? What does Gavin know about working a crowd? Primetime went through the archives. We cannot find a single exciting speech or memorable phrase Gavin's delivered throughout his entire career. And the man's been in politics his whole life. They didn't even let him speak at Kamala's coronation. They just used him for his pom-poms. Trump's been a perfect gentleman to Gavin overseas. He even paid him a little compliment. Listen.
Gavin's a good guy. We did help them a lot in Los Angeles, a lot with the early in my term when they had some problems. But we would love to do it. I will say this, if I were a Democrat governor or whatever, I would call up Trump. I'd say, come on in, make us look good. Because we're cutting crime down to nothing. And we're taking people out, career criminals who are only going to do bad things, and we're bringing them back to their countries.
Gavin said Trump was a T-Rex. You either mate with him or he eats you. Trump saying, come to bed, Gav. We can make California beautiful again. The Bloodhound's not feeling it, though. He says Gavin's a hot mess. All sizzle, no steak.
Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris. He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros. My message to Governor Newsom is the Trump administration is coming to California. We are going to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse.
How much did Gavin spend flying to the Swiss Alps? We're about to find out. Newsom's always struck me as slightly European. That's why he had a little heart-to-heart with his French soulmates.
You criticized world leaders when you got here, saying that some of these European leaders have capitulated to the president.
In the past.
You said you should have brought knee pads. What have you heard from them since then?
A lot. I heard a surprising number say, glad you made those comments. The exact opposite of what you might expect.
Gavin seems to have a lot of secret conversations no one can verify. Biden did too, remember? There must be voices in their heads. Or is Gavin just whispering with the Europeans like a bunch of girls? Because we know the Europeans and Democrats can be two-faced. Now, if you want to go to the party, you got to play nice with the guy running the door. Gavin tried to crash the USA House party in Davos. Trump bounced him. Gavin complained, and then the White House fired back. No one in Davos knows who third-rate Governor Newsom is or why he's frolicking around Switzerland instead of fixing the many problems he created in California. And later, Trump said, all right, swing by a little after 10. President's being the bigger person here. Gavin hasn't rebuilt a single home in the Palisades, but he's off frolicking with foreign leaders. 47's just flipping on the lights, cutting the music, and telling Gavin, go fix your state, bud. But Bernie's calling Trump the immature one.
It's like a narcissistic 4-year-old spoiled brat. You know? Yeah. I'm going to yell and scream because I didn't get my extra cup of ice cream. So, you know.
Kentucky's Democrat governor's also in Davos, and he kind of caught Gavin's TDS.
The speech was dangerous, it was disrespectful, and it was unhinged. You saw him ramble on in stories and even try to do voices. I mean, this is really concerning, and for the United States, frankly, embarrassing.
All right, have a sense of humor. Is Trump a 4-year-old brat or an aging, mentally ill dictator? You got to pick a lane. The ladies of The View, they can't. They're swerving all over the road, straight toward a coup.
The 25th Amendment requires the cabinet around him to act.
But we're talking to them.
Well, I know, but I'm just as a dose of reality, his cabinet is squarely with him.
Yes.
Though I do think...
And it's time for them to go, too.
The View was fine with Biden falling asleep and wandering off. But Trump busts his buddy's chops about wearing sunglasses and they want to whack him? Notice what they never call Trump. Dumb. Because they know he's smart. And that's what scares them the most.
Oh, man, that was a great segment. The international perspective raises legitimate questions about Newsom's priorities. Now watch how American critics deliver the final verdict. America is finished with Gavin Newsom.
I think it's very, very ironic that, Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris. He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros, and Davos is a perfect place for a man who, when everyone else was on lockdown, when he was having people arrested for going to church, he was having $1,000 a night meals at the French Laundry, and I'm sure the California people won't forget that. And I can tell my message to Governor Newsom is the Trump administration is coming to California. We are going to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse. And I was told he was asked to give a speech on his signature policies, but he's not speaking because what have his economic policies brought? Outward migration from California, a gigantic budget deficit, the largest homeless population in America, and the poor folks in the Palisades who had their homes burned down. He is here hobnobbing with the global elite while his California citizens are still homeless. Shame on him. He is too smug, too self-absorbed, and too economically illiterate to know anything.
Man, Treasury Secretary Bissett just laying the hammer down on Gavin Newsom. The criticism transitions perfectly to the Italian perspective, showing how Newsom's Davos appearance is being viewed globally as either political doom or anti-fascist leadership. Gavin Newsom, Greg Bovino's walking the streets. This is from Gavin's press office. Greg Bovino's walking the streets of America dressed up as a Nazi. His uniform looks like SS garb he bought from eBay.
It gives you a sense of what we're up against and what's happening across my country. And what happened here in Davos. I was going to speak last night. It was a well-established event at the USA House. Simple conversation, discussion. After Trump's speech, they made sure that I didn't.
Good.
They made sure it was canceled.
Good.
And that's what's happening in the United States of America. Freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. It's America in reverse. They're censoring historical facts.
No, we just don't give assholes like you the microphone. All right? You have been enabling fraud and scams in your state, leaving your people out to dry. So, no, we're not going to give you the microphone. That's what the stage you're sitting on is for. You can go and complain all you want over there, Gavin, but not in Trump's house.
They're rewriting history. They're censoring books, 4,340 books.
Oh, really?
Libraries and in schools banned in the United States of America.
What's in those books, Gavin? What's in those books? Huh? Yeah, see, they don't want kids reading those books. That's the thing here. Oh, this guy makes me so angry.
You're watching institutions. Any institution of independent thinking is under assault and attack by the Trump administration. You're seeing what's playing out in the streets of American cities, what played out in California, the second largest city in the United States of America. 4,000 National Guard were federalized. 700 active duty Marines were not sent overseas. They were sent to my largest city in the state of California. Masked men. Guy Greg Bovino, dressed up. It's as if he literally went on eBay and purchased SS garb. Greg Bovino, secret police, private army, masked men, people disappearing quite literally, no due process, windows being smashed, seatbelts on, being, literally just sort of cut off, people dragged in the streets, kids separated from families, knocking on doors, racially profiling American citizens.
Oh, wow.
So is it surprising the Trump administration didn't like my commentary and wanted to make sure that I was not allowed to speak? No, it's consistent with this administration and their authoritarian tendencies.
But
Forgive me, these are objective facts.
Oh, man. And Soros has just endorsed this guy? That's terrifying. See, this is the moment that the mask comes completely off. We're watching the 2020 election being decided in real time by a man who inherited his political influence from daddy's checkbook. Alex Soros did not earn his seat at the table. He bought it. And now he's buying your next president, too. You see, the machine isn't even trying to hide it anymore. They're picking winners and losers in broad daylight while calling it democracy. Soros publicly crowns Newsom. The betting markets respond instantly, and the media falls in line like dominoes. This is oligarchy with extra steps. When unelected billionaires can anoint presidential candidates at cocktail parties in Switzerland, you're not living in a republic anymore. You're living in a plutocracy with Democratic window dressing. The 2028 race isn't starting in Iowa or New Hampshire. It started in Davos in a hotel suite with a handshake and a check. Is this the America you want your kids to inherit? Check out the Next News merch shop.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this. Share this now.